your significant other, is you allow him or the people, your partners in general, to perhaps take some of your power away. You have to trust it a little more. Let's see. Now, wait a minute. Okay, Mars in Gemini. Well, you're just, perhaps it stays in the mind too much. Perhaps you're somebody that needs to be a little bit more forceful physically, Do you ride horses or get out, do a lot of walking, or?
No.
Perhaps you need to manifest it in the body. Sometimes when we can't make it work in the brain,
yes.
If we go out into the world of the body, that's the way to do it.
Okay.
But you have to trust your intelligence and your wisdom more.
Okay.
Okay?
All right.
Thank you for calling.
You.
Okay, thank you for calling. Esther. Esther is here on line 1. Date of birth is September 13th, 1969, 9/13/69. Esther, you there?
Yes, I am.
Okay, good morning. You're on with Mary Michele.
Good morning.
Good morning. How are you, Esther?
I'm fine, thank you. I'm just calling to find out. I'm thinking about a career move.
Mm-hmm.
And I just want to know, just like, if I'm heading into the right direction, thinking about changing my career.
Thinking about change.
Change.
Mm-hmm. Okay, you have the sun in Virgo, as you know, and you have the moon in Libra. You have Mercury in Libra, Jupiter in Libra, Uranus in Libra. You got a lot of planets in Libra. You have a tendency to try to see both sides of things too much. Libra is the scales of justice. It's about trying to understand other people's points of view. What kind of work are you in now?
I'm in the teaching field.
Teaching?
Yes.
And are you thinking of changing the nature of your profession entirely?
No, not the nature.
Just going into another school or another...
Well, right now I'm a daycare provider teacher. And I'm thinking like a assistant teacher. And I'm thinking if maybe I want to field with people, but I just want, I was thinking about more like a different field with people, like maybe older people, and maybe instead of kids.
Well, that sounds like an interesting move. I think that you would have a tremendous amount to talk about with older people. You have Mars and Sagittarius, so I think you would have a lot to learn, which would be something that I think is very interesting to you. You also might try to, if you're going to work with older people, you might try to, again, incorporate some physicality with it. What kind of things do you teach?
Well, when I was a special education teacher, I was working with kids with special needs.
Uh-huh.
Mm-hmm.
I think you should perhaps try and do that with older people. That makes sense. You are going to have to work on your relationship issues quite hard in the next couple of years. And again, like the previous caller, you don't want to give your power away. Are you involved with someone?
Yes.
Yeah. You want to make sure that you don't let that person make up your mind for you.
Oh, okay.
Okay?
All right.
So I think it's a good move to do that, to move on to this other area of teaching that you're talking about.
Uh-huh.
Okay?
All right.
All right,
Okay.
thanks for calling.
Thank
All
you
right.
for calling. 241-1310 is the number to call, 241-1310. Mary Michele, we will get to talk about Mercury, but we've got to take a break, and then we're going to talk to Susan, and we'll be back right after that. 241-1310, if you've got a question from Mary Michele. For the best fuel oil burner service and burner installation in the upper Westchester County area, give Marshall Oil Company a call at 764-5766. They offer fast, dependable deliveries, automatic fill service, 24-hour emergency equipment service, and convenient budget plans. They also stock a large inventory of replacement parts. So if you have a service need, it will be answered promptly and courteously. They also pledge to keep their prices at the lowest possible level. Marshall Oil Company has been providing quality service service for the county for over 56 years and will continue to do so in the future. So it's easy to understand why so many residents and businesses in Westchester County have become such loyal customers. So for fast, dependable, and reliable service and the lowest possible prices, give Marshall Oil Company a call, 764-5766. Marshall Oil Company, striving to keep you and your family comfortable all year round. If you have a question for Mary Michele, 241-1310, the number to call, just as Susan did. Her date of birth is June 21st, 52. Susan, you're calling for somebody whose date of birth, though, is March 10th, 49, correct?
That's correct.
Okay, good morning. You're on with Mary Michele.
Hi, Mary Michele.
Hi, Susan.
That's the date of my husband's birth, and he is hoping to make a job switch as well, and it looks like he has 3 good prospects coming up, and I was wondering if there was anything in his sign at this moment that would say that looked like that one of those 3 was really going to work out.
Okay. 3-10-49. The sun in Pisces, the moon in Cancer. Very harmonious angle. He's a pretty centered person in terms of his conscious and his unconscious. Mercury in Aquarius, Venus in Pisces. Oh, that's beautiful. He certainly knows how to love well. He's someone that understands the nature of love, perhaps a little too chivalrous sometimes. Mars in Pisces. The last 2 years have not been good for him at all. It's been a very, very difficult time for him in terms of structure. Pisces in general is not a sign that likes structure. They, are very expansive and want to incorporate everything and everybody. When you think of water with water, the nature of water, there are no boundaries. And Pisces...
That's very true. He's had a terrible 2 years.
Yeah. Well, it shifted in April. Was there any kind of a job possibility that came up in April?
Well, he's been waltzing around a couple of jobs. It takes a while in his industry to make moves. So
Well, with Mercury in Aquarius, he is good at the communication world. He understands the nature of, communication technology. I don't know as it would necessarily be about being able to verbally talk. I don't know as sales would necessarily be his forte, but he would be someone that is very willing to take risks in the world of communications. So, if he dealt with companies that, made computers or high technology or something like that, he would probably have a good sense and be a little bit ahead of the curve in understanding that. Are these things that are his area of... Is that...
Well, basically, he's in sales.
Okay, well...
But there's nothing coming through, any planet that's coming through in the next month that might make a job offer.
The job offers that happen will not be concrete until October.
Okay.
So October is the time, and certainly during the month of September, he shouldn't sign any contracts. So if he's making a shift, if he makes it in September, he can make it, but it probably won't work out. So he might not be very happy with that.
Well, that sounds like good advice.
Should I look at you quickly?
Sure.
All right, you were, what did you say, 6/21?
June 21st, 1952.
Okay. June 21, okay. You were born the last day of Gemini, so there is the possibility that you're a Cancer. If you, at some point would want to just have the mathematical part of this done, you would be able to find out for sure. But you do have the moon in Gemini, so again, you are somebody that's born at the new moon. Gemini, of course, is the sign of communications. Someone that can communicate easily with a lot of different kinds of people. Mercury in Cancer, Venus in Gemini. There's a lot of Gemini. Mars in Scorpio. I think that the main issue for you right now is probably, it's interesting that you would ask about your husband, because the planet Saturn, which is always where we have the greatest difficulty, for you it's in the sign of Libra, so you are having more, your feelings are more about in dealings with others, your partnerships. It's less about you personally. Do you feel like right now is not a time that you really feel that it's important for you to work on what it is that you need to do?
Well, there's more at stake in other places, I guess.
Mm-hmm. Well, that's very practical, and I think that's real. But I think also, let's say emotionally, or your gut instinct is saying that right now it's more important for you to put that effort in others, on the direction of others, the other partnerships that you have, not just your husband. And I think that's a good thing to be doing. But the nature of it is that it is going to be a little frustrating. So you might try to temper this with finding little projects for yourself.
Okay, well, thank you very much.
Thanks for calling.
Okay, bye-bye.
Okay, thank you for calling. Let's see. Ethel is online, too. Ethel, we're going to get to you in 1 minute. 241-1310, the number to call. Mary Michele is sitting here with her books and her whatever. This is National Psychic Week, by the way, but you're not a psychic. You're an astrologer.
I didn't know that, Mike.
Well, it's also National Put on a Smile on Your Face Week.
Well, I like that.
You see, so you can combine the two. We'll be back with Mary Michele 1 minute away. Do you want to continue your education? Start this fall at Westchester Community College. Tuition is the lowest in the county, and you'll earn credits that transfer up to 4-year colleges in the county and around the country. Do you need career credentials that will help you get a job? Get them this fall at Westchester Community College. Employers throughout the county and elsewhere seek WCC-trained graduates, and they connect with them through our placement center. This year, WCC is celebrating 50 years of providing Westchester residents with successful connections to the future. WCC alumni celebrate their affordable college experience, the award-winning faculty which help them, the many avenues of on-campus support and activities that they enjoyed, the programs which stretch their minds. You can become one of WCC's successful alumni. Classes begin September 3rd. Register now at the Valhalla campus, 9 a.m. to 7:30 p.m. Monday through Thursday through August 22nd and August 26th through the 28th. Call 785-6735 for information. That's 785-6735 to connect to the Westchester Community College and your successful future. And let us get back to the phones now. Mary Michele is here taking your calls at 241-1310. Good morning. Ethel, are you there, Ethel? Ethel has left us.
If you'd like to.
Yes, Ethel. Sorry about that. Ethel, please call back 241-1310. I don't know what it is. People get on and then they disappear today. So let us see. You wanted to talk about Mercury, the planet, as opposed to the god, the one with the things on his hair and,
Well, it's
the
kind
fleet shoes.
It's kind of synonymous, Mercury and the planet and the god.
I figured because Mercury is the closest to the sun. It goes around the quickest. So there's speed there.
Right.
And the messenger is Mercury.
The messenger.
And he's the medium.
The medium. And he also is, he's also known as the servant of the gods, even though he's one of them himself. He's not actually a total god. His mother, Maya, was half human. So he, is not a total god in the realm of the Greek gods. But Hermes is a terribly interesting god because he is part of what we call, or one of the higher learnings in the esoteric metaphysical world is the idea of the Hermeticists, and one of their ways of manifesting knowledge was through alchemy. And Mercury was the Egyptian god Thoth, and also known as Hermes. And Hermes was someone that is terribly important to our learning in general. Usually teachers in higher education, they will be people that are exercising Mercury in their chart in some way. They are giving messages. Mercury was also the god of travelers. So when you traveled from here to there, you always had to pass by the signposts of Mercury. And the idea was that the rock was very symbolic to Mercury because the rock was the signpost. Anyway, I will get back to this story about Mercury in a minute because we're going to talk to somebody.
Yes, we're going to talk to Teresa, who's watching on cable channel 12 over in Yorktown. Date of birth, January 28th, 1955. Teresa, good morning. You're on with Mary Michele.
Good morning. I'd like to just know, maybe you could tell me a little about my life, how it's going, where it's going.
Okay. January
28th.
28th, 1955.
Right.
Okay. The sun in Aquarius,
right.
The moon in Aries. this is a very harmonious angle. You work well. Your conscious and your unconscious work well together. Although right now the moon in Aries is having a little bit of a tough time from the transiting planets. So certainly your unconscious, your dreams, you might be having a few more nightmares than normal. Your daily habitual routines are being a little disrupted. The way that you might like to get up and get going in the morning you're not able to do it as smoothly as you have in the past. Are there any, sort of underlying emotional issues that seem to be the focus of the trouble at the moment? Is there trouble at the moment?
Not really, because my life is stressful because of the kids, my husband's job, and everything else.
Mm-hmm. Have the patterns changed in any way? Has it gotten more acutely difficult, like, let's say, since April?
Yeah, that's when I started a new job.
Mm-hmm. Well, that's new routine, new habit, a new job, right? With the Sun and Mercury in Aquarius, is this job something that you are really enjoying, or is it something that you felt that you had to do?
Oh, no, I really enjoy it.
Yeah, okay. Well, I think that you're going to be able to do well with the job. In other words, the Sun and Mercury in Aquarius, you're probably, again, a little bit ahead of the curve, and your ideas and your work is very important to you, and you're probably coming up with good ideas at work. If there are women that work with you at work,
right,
there might be some difficulty with them. They might not see your ideas as easily or as clearly as, but you can work around that.
Okay.
Okay.
What about financially?
Again, I think if you stick with this work that you love, that you're good at, and that you enjoy, money should not be a big issue.
And what about my health?
I don't see any trouble with the health. I mean, there's no big indication of trouble with the health. I have to go. If you want to call back the week after next, I'd be happy to talk to you again.
Okay, thank you for calling.
Thank you.
All right, Betty is on line 2, calling from Shrub Oak, watching on cable channel 12, January 31st, 1940. Betty, good morning. You're on with Mary Michele.
Good morning.
Good morning, Betty.
Yes.
Did you have?
It's been a very tough year.
Has it?
Yes.
Oh.
And I'm looking for a job, and it just doesn't happen.
It's being elusive. Okay, January 31st, 1940. Okay, the Sun in Aquarius, the Moon in Scorpio. This is a hard angle. Mercury in Aquarius, Venus in Pisces, Mars in Aries. Your energy is being sublimated a bit this year. Mars in Aries, you're having to structure in ways that you may not find that resonate well with you. In other words, you're being forced to adapt to new structures that you don't like. Certainly the money issue should have gotten a little better in April, though.
It did.
Did it get a little better?
Yeah.
So now, in terms of your work, are you trying to do something different than what you've ever done before?
Yes, as a matter of fact, I am.
Yeah. What? Can you tell me the nature of it?
Well, just anything other than what I was doing. I was in customer service rep before, and I just want to do something different. Actually, I was thinking about going back to school.
I think going back to school is a very good idea. And I think that the money shouldn't be an issue right now. So, you would learn a lot from going back to school, and that would help you make this decision.
Yeah.
I have to go, but if you want to call back, that would be great. Thanks so much.
Bye-bye.
Okay, our final call this morning comes from Linda, who is watching on cable channel 12 over in Katona. Date of birth, May 31st, 1952. Linda, you're on with Mary Michele.
Hi, Mary Michele.
Hi, Linda. Did you have a particular question?
Well, I'm been in a new job for about the past year. It's very, very stressful. I kind of like to know, is this going to last? Is it going to get better?
Okay, you have the May 31st, 52, right? Mm-hmm. You have the Sun in Gemini, the Moon in Virgo. This is a hard angle, although the Moon is having some good aspects right now, the unconscious. So it's more about thinking about your internal life right now. You're going to have more help in trying to figure out what it is that you really love and what you dream about and what's important to you. I think if you can focus on that, let's see. I don't see money as being a big issue right now. Is money worrying you?
Yeah, at times.
Well, you definitely have good aspects around money right now.
Well,
so I think in terms of worrying about your job, it's not the time to do it. What you want to spend more time focusing on are those internal parts of yourself, the moon in Virgo. What do you do for relaxation or for something alternative interests outside of your job?
I don't have time for any.
This is what you need to find time for. Because your job is kind of carrying itself.
Mm-hmm.
You know, you are really quite good at your job, and I don't think you should be worrying about your job.
Uh-huh.
So what needs attention is your inner structure, your inner life. So whether it's going to church, whether it's going to the gym, I'm not saying they're synonymous, but whatever it is that's going to give you some space and some place to be in your garden. Find something contemplative. Raise orchids. I don't know what kind. It has to be something that you're going to choose. I can give you these different avenues, but that's what's important right now.
So I should just make sure that I make time for these things.
Yes.
Whether I have time for them or not, I have to make time for them.
Yes.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Thanks so much for calling.
Thank you, Mary Michele.
Okay.
That became a very interesting phone call there, because it's so true. You really do have to veg out or whatever it may be, a little relaxation there. Any thoughts for the next week? I know you're not going to be here next Monday.
Oh, Mike. Well, I'm really going to miss being here, but where I'm going, I think, is a very special place. And, I think everybody should have fun. The sun's in Leo. We will be coming up to the full moon on the 28th. It'll be a full moon in Pisces, and that'll be a time that, again, you want to spend time with your family. The 28th. Now, what am I talking about? I'm sorry. Goodness gracious. The new moon in Leo on the 14th. That's a time to party.
Sounds good to me. I'm going away the 15th. Mary Michele, we will miss you next week, but we'll see you 2 weeks from today.
Yes, definitely.
You have a great time, okay?
Thank you, Mike.
All right, Mary Michele taking your calls Mondays at WVIP Mount Kisco. Good morning, everyone. Coming up to the top of the hour. Stay tuned now for ABC News, which is next. You're listening to WVIP Mount Kisco. It's 10 a.m.
Oh, how do you do? How are you?
Good, how are you?
Dan Hollis. This is Aaron.
Hello, Aaron.
Hi.
How are you?
Aaron, what are you serving?
Well, I'll let Andrew.
Oh, Andrew. How are you, Andrew? Nice to see you. This is Andrew.
Hello, Andrew.
This is
Hey,
Dan
it's
Hollis.
Nice to meet
Andrew, would you tell us about what you got here?
you. In front of you have a herb glazed monkfish served on a pilaf of toasted quinoa and pine nuts. And in the middle is a galette of Provençal tomatoes with spinach. The sauce is a roasted red pepper coulis. Over here we have a pan roast of sea scallops with grilled vegetables, toasted pine nuts, and a sauce of sun-dried tomatoes with basil.
Now, who is the artist in this place? Because it's so beautifully presented.
Well, actually, I'm the sous chef, and I designed these two particular plates. But
you
the
like
chef,
to design these things too, don't you?
Yeah,
Because it's so beautifully presented.
I believe presentation is.
I don't know whether we can show this or not, but it would be a shame not to be able to show it, but I think I'm afraid to lose it.
There
But
we
on
go.
the other hand, forget about showing it. The main point is that it is beautifully presented, isn't it?
Very nicely done.
And now, this serves as what, an appetizer?
That would be an entree portion.
Oh, it is an entree, because it looks handsome enough and sufficient so we can get started on this.
Look forward to it.
Thank you very
Please
much.
enjoy. Thank you.
Thank you
Enjoy,
very
man.
much. You see, what you've got here, Dan, what we've got here is enough food so that you can talk while I'm talking, and reverse.
Perfect.
But mostly what I want to do is have you tell us about yourself. Because to me, you're the quintessence, if you will, of VIP country and Bedford. You were brought up in Bedford, were you not, really?
I was brought up here.
Your family was here, your mother, your father, your sisters, your brother. And you went to school here, did you?
No, I went away to school. I didn't go to Fox Lane. I went to Del Barton School in Morristown, New Jersey. After that, went to Siena College outside of Albany, New York. And then in 1967, I like to say I was a #1 draft choice, but not of the NBA, but of Lyndon Johnson. And I served...
a different salary.
Very much so. No multi-million-dollar salary. I think I maxed out at $310 a month, including combat pay.
But you were in Vietnam, were you?
I was for a year.
Yeah. And in active duty at the time.
Yes, I was in the 82nd Airborne Division.
Now, when did you go to law school? I mean, after all, you're a prominent lawyer here, and you got to tell me
I came back after the service, started at Albany and finished at Fordham. And while I was at Fordham, I was clerking with the Anderson Banks firm in Mount Kisco. Bill Banks and Stanley Anderson and the late Bill Moore gave me my start. And I became a partner there in 1975 and became a partner at Schamberg Marwell in 1990. And I've been there ever since. So my entire legal career has been spent.
This is Mary Michele for WVIP, and this is Taking Time. I'm here today with Bonnie Wilder. She is the director of the Little Farm Montessori Nursery School. I want to welcome you here with me today, Bonnie. And I wanted to ask you, how did you start the Montessori school? And also, I believe you were a painter. Did you go directly from painting to the school, or?
Well, both, I guess, had the same beginning, because when I was very young, I was very full of questions about life. And I ended up being a textile designer, but then when I had my child, I became very interested in education. And through art, I can take time to explore questions about life. And with the children, of course, it's the most wonderful question of the unfolding of human intelligence that one is in front of.
Right. And what is it that you search for when you did paint? Was the searching for in the painting lead into the searching in working with the child? Do you do a lot of painting with the children here?
Yes, we do a lot of artwork. Mm-hmm. But in a way, you could say that when I do painting, it's separate. It's very much my very own sort of search to remember the invisible in life, because in trying